whatever milestones that Black people make against hate, it ends up benefiting all the other people of color. I can't see what his end game is. The Republican Party is the party of racism, is the party of white supremacy, is the party of hate. This is wrong, and it needs to stop.
Everybody wants to go back and drag that piece of history up, but they don't want to go back and deal with what their ancestors did to the indigenous people and to Black people in this country. You got to go. And you got billionaires talking about going to space and Jeff Bezos. Go! Never come back. I hope you get lost. This man has lost his mind.
Boom! Come on, girlfriend. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-host, and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that collaboration last year, reached out to over 100,000 fathers and dads around the world directly and indirectly. And good news, we've done the over 100,000 again this year. So when we get the final stats in, we'll certainly report. But it's broadcasting live December 17th. Geez, Christmas is around the corner. It's the last full weekend to shop or buy or whatever. I have not started anything yet. I said yet. So I'm keeping up to the stereotype of the guy. People say guys don't shop until the last minute. But what I do is I go to one mall and I do it all in one shot. I don't go all around the place. We get it done in one big shot. So we are going to have our three friends, Aisha, Jill, and LaLa, on a second. And I'll tell you something. I was only expecting Aisha, at least for the full conversation. But then all of a sudden, LaLa showed up in the green room. And then all of a sudden, Jill showed up in the green room going, I don't know what happened, what went on. But what I'm going to do is, before we get all settled in, I did it last week. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to show a little video on how you can vote for the Dr. Vibe Show for the Best Black Canadian Podcast Award at this year's By Blacks People's Choice Award. So we'll be back in a few moments. Hang tight. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And through that collaboration last year, I was part of a team that reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And I am excited about this video I'm making for you. It's a short video, and I have a big ask. The Dr. Vibe Show has been nominated in the Best Black Canadian Podcaster category for this year's ByBlacks.com People's Choice Awards. Now, ByBlacks.com is Black Canada's #1 online magazine, and I'm very humbled to be nominated in this category. Now, I have a big ask. I would like you to vote for me. I would like to win in this category. I'd like all of us to win. So I'm just doing this short video to show you how you can vote. And do note, you can vote once every 24 hours from now till the end of day, December 31st, 2022. So what you're looking at right now is the website address that you go to first. And that website address is byblacks.com/PCA/vote. Let me repeat that website, byblacks.com/PCA/vote. When you get onto that page, you're going to scroll down and you're going to see Podcaster 2022. Podcaster 2022. You see, at the time I'm recording this, there's 187 votes. I want us to put in 1,187 votes for Dr. Vibe. I liked 18,700 votes for Dr. Vibe. This can be done because you can vote once every 24 hours. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. We want this to be a big party so we can win it. Now, getting back to it, Podcaster 2022, you click on that. And now it's going to take you to another page. Podcaster 22 at the top, best Black Canadian podcaster for 2022. 188 votes, registered by 1 vote. Last vote 46 minutes ago. This is when I'm recording it. The poll votes are hidden from public viewing, and the poll votes will be closed 4 weeks from now. It's probably a little less than 4 weeks from now. There are the 3 nominees. Black people check in. On the Path of Cheryl Nebhart, and there is the Dr. Vibe show right here. This is where you got to be. This is where you got to go. Now, click on the Dr. Vibe show. There you go. Vote. So you got to click on the Dr. Vibe show, and right underneath this, you click on vote, and there you go. Done. That's all you need to do. Now, remember, you can vote every 24 hours from now till end of day, December 31st. I would really appreciate your support in this, and I would like to have a big online party when we claim victory on this. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, message me. Probably the best way to message me is one of 2 ways. Email address, dr.vibeshow.com, or you can hit me via Instagram at @the_dr_vibeshow, the Dr. Vibe Show. So as always, I like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace. And looking forward to celebrating with you. Remember, you can vote every 24 hours. Take care, be well, and keep the faith. Okay, we are done. So that's a little promo you like to say we're doing. One other thing we got to do, and this is the last time we're having to do, or we're getting the opportunity to do this. So let me just put this up. So this episode of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa is being sponsored by Ebony Occasions. Ebony Occasions, your #1 choice for Afrocentric greeting cards. Why not add that special touch to the holidays this season by giving a culturally relevant card? Their pack of 20 Christmas cards is on special for $39.99 Canadian and $29.99 US. That's only $2 a card Canadian and $1.50 a card US. Take advantage of the savings for a limited time only. Whatever the Ebony occasion, they have you covered. So go to ebonyoccasions.com to shop for your culturally relevant cards for the holidays and other occasions. So I'd like to thank for the last few episodes of State of Things to have the support of Ebony Occasions. So you know what? I got other things to share, but we'll do it halfway through the conversation because I'll do one other thing. There's the website. There's the Instagram. Now let's bring the real stars of this conversation up to the stage. Yes, yes, and yes. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Jill. You're on mute.
I cannot see either one of them.
You can't see either one of them?
Mm-mm.
Oh, and I can't. Yeah,
Yes,
I do.
that's true.
Okay, so we're having fun here. There's a lot of funny things going on. So Aisha says she can't see Jill and Laura.
I can now.
Now we can. I could see her, but we were, I think, still in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
LaLa.
I'm working on it. I don't know if that worked or not. I'm on the struggle bus.
No, you know what I'm going to suggest? We're going to have you turn off your camera.
Yeah,
I'm going to turn off your camera. Or turn off your camera, and we'll just do it that way. I didn't want to turn off my camera. So LaLa's turned off her camera, but she is there with us. Or has I see her camera still on.
Yeah, if you take the background out, you should be able to do it.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
technical challenge.
Yep.
We're here. We're here. We're here. We are here. So, ladies, how has the past week been?
It went by fast.
It's okay for us. I mean, the saddest part for us this week was P22, our mountain lion, died, or they had to euthanize, you know, one of the greatest things in LA. So that's sad. He had roamed from the Santa Monica Mountains. He's a puma and sort of was like the king of Griffith Park. And he was just, his health was deteriorating. And I think he was about 15. I don't know how long they normally live, but they had to euthanize him today. So it's really sad, you know.
I wasn't.
And it's especially sad they haven't, you know, in his lifetime, he never got to have the ramp that went across, which we all voted for. But, you know, I was a little bit flipped out on Adam Schiff on Twitter today and told him the hell with all you politicians. I'm so sick of them. It's like they do absolutely. I'm just done with all of them.
Why didn't they
I mean,
do
it's
it?
like,
Was there a reason?
I don't know.
LA
Yeah,
and no telling where
nothing gets done. I flipped out on Karen Bass the other day. She's talking about, you know, provocative tweets and everything. It's like, okay, great, but you just got a job this past week. Get on it. You know, they're like going, no one should be homeless in California. No, there really shouldn't be anybody homeless here. But if y'all keep like getting rid of housing court for tenants, they got rid of it. There's no courthouse here for people who rent. And if there's a landlord that wants to just do a
Throw you
3-day
out.
pay or quit and everything and put them out, they can't defend themselves. So what the hell did these fucking dumbass politicians think was going to happen? They exploited this and they made it happen. So for the lifetime politician that Karen Bass has been, don't play me or play dumb like you don't know what. No one should be homeless. Really? You watched it happen with your stupid friend Gil Cedillo, whose ass should, you know, all of them. Kevin DeLeon, he still has a job. He still makes money. His kids are still going to get money for presents from Christmas, from my tax money or all of the monies that we put in for them to work here. There should have been some kids not getting any presents this year in his house, as far as I'm concerned.
Jill, manage your energy.
It just flips me out. You know, I'm just very angry. I don't feel like Christmas at all. In fact, I don't have a tree up. I'm not putting a tree up. I don't really give a shit about it this year because I just see it going away every year. It means less and less to me. Just even the novelty of people getting together. I think I'm just going to become one of those people who just won't even have anything up. I don't really, there's nothing that's gotten into the Christmas spirit for me. Nothing. Not the way this country is going. And I'll be damned if I'm going to spend my money and support this bullshit any longer. If y'all want presents from me, you're going to have to wait till after when the sales go on because it's just overpriced bullshit. You got Jerome Powell raising our rates all the time, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get jacked up to give presents. No way. No way. We're in crisis in this country. Crisis. Oh, and there was an earthquake in Texas, guys. Can you believe that?
Yep.
5.4.
Yep.
Serves them right.
Well, we are decorating tomorrow, but we don't look at everything else that's going on in the world. I am so blessed when it comes to having a mother-in-law. I don't even like to say in-law. I love her. She is a sunshine in my world. She's old school. She has a genuine heart. So everything in this household, when I come to this house, it is all about family, all about love, all about helping others. So I'm able to shut off the world and take it on where I'm really just with family. Now, my mother-in-law is now 86. She don't act like she's 86. She's still playing for church and everything else, but she is older. But it feels good to me to be able to say, I'm fixing dinner, family. I'm, okay, Mom, what do you need me to help you with? Mm-hmm. So for me, Christmas, this is a part of Christmas, but it's because I'm able to shut out the world.
Yeah, I try to avoid the world on the holidays too. And the closer it gets to it, the more I kind of withdraw. Like this year, we didn't decorate because we're moving. So it didn't make sense to put up decorations, unpack them, put them up again.
Yeah.
But my mother and my sisters didn't do too much decorating this year either. But my mother actually did. And we're just like, oh, thank you. Because now we can go have Christmas at your house. Just anytime between now and the holidays, just go. We always go there every couple of days anyway, but go there. And she's got these cute little black nutcrackers that are like 7 feet tall. And she's got a wreath and she put lights up, and she's like, I'm leaving the lights there all year because first of all, it was hard to put up, but second of all, they look nice. And so like today, just went to my mother's house to drop her off. We went shopping, and my nephew came back from Ghana.
Oh,
and so
nice.
time there. So that
Thought you said he was coming back.
A different kind of holiday because he wasn't here with us Thanksgiving, and before that my aunt got married and he wasn't here for that. So now it's just going to be that kind of thing, and then we have new family coming and joining us. So it's going to be interesting.
I do have one funny thing to say.
Nativity. So like the very first thing that we put up is nativity or Christ based. So the first ornament that goes on the tree is the nativity. The outside, before we put the lights up, the nativity, because we want to make sure that we focus on the reason for the season.
I just started saying to my husband today, it was like, I know that there's just no way that the quote unquote Jesus that everybody talks about was a Capricorn. There's no way. A Capricorn would not have been knocking down the money changers and all of that. So I was like, what are we doing? So as you all know, this past year I struggle a lot with the whole concept of Christianity again, because I don't know, I just think it's a big fairy tale. And I went through that, I think, off the heels of all these people who've housed it. I wouldn't even want to be around a religion that even smells and reeks of Trumpdom. They did it in. They sunk Christianity for me, and I have a very hard time even understanding, because I couldn't be as stupid as they are. They're just impossible. So it's like, why would we ever have a commonality of like Jesus? But the craziest thing is, so this week, a girlfriend of mine came in from New Zealand and she brought a couple of gifts. I don't know if anybody saw my Instagram.
I did.
And it was this really amazing peanut butter. It has hemp in it. It has like sunflower seeds. It has hemp seeds. It is probably the best the best peanut butter I've ever had. If you like nutty things, and it was called Fix It something, whatever, I'll find it during a break and bring it out. But she also, brought like soaps and honey and all this stuff. And so I was sitting there at the dinner table, and it was dark in the restaurant, and I was like reading. She was trying to read. I said, I can see it. I can see. She goes, you can't see something that we were looking at the menus, and she made a comment. So anyway, the next day I make a piece of toast and I put this peanut butter on it, and I take this like cool ass honey that they have, and it like squirts out. And I thought, this is genius. Like, why doesn't all of our honey come in like these little tubes? I ate this thing up, and I was like, text her. I said, this reminds me of like Lebanon used to have this thing called the Honeybee Festival when I was a kid. I said, this honey reminds me of like those honeybee festivals when I was growing up. And I said, and the peanut butter is to die for. And then my daughter came in and went in the kitchen, and she's like, Mom, what is all this stuff doing out on the counter? And I said, oh, you have to have it. I mean, it's fabulous. This peanut butter is ridiculously good. I said, and that honey is off the charts. I said, it's like a raw honey. It's, white. And so it's in raw form. And she's like, you didn't eat this, did you? I was like, I did. What? She goes, you didn't eat it. I said, yes. She goes, Mom, it says down here, honey conditioning hand cream.
I'm glad I'm glad you're on tonight. So just a little quick story, folks. Jill wasn't going to appear tonight. She said she wasn't feeling well about an hour ago. Aren't you happy she showed up?
Zuzu was like, Mom, are you okay? And then she went, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, that is not. And I looked, and because the fonts are so big, and then this was so small, I just, I'm not a very detail-oriented person. So I was like, but the crazy thing is I put it all over. I squeezed it out. My only complaint was to myself, believe it or not, this cream is still sweet. Like you could like taste the honey. But I was thinking, New Zealand must have a very floral bouquet because it was a little perfumey. That was the only
Oh my goodness.
I think I laughed at you for about an hour.
I could believe it.
Oh my good. Aren't you glad she showed up? LaLa and Aisha. You can go now, Joe. You can go to bed now. After that, you get a pass. You
Look,
get a
and I
pass.
thought we were bad because my sister buys human grade snacks for her dog.
Ooh,
Like, I mean, like, yeah,
they're
like,
fabulous, right?
yeah, they're like if anything ever shut down or anything,
Eating dog snacks.
and I thought that was something because I have a shellfish allergy, and so my sister opened up the shrimp things for the puppy. I'm like, oh my god, I got to get out of here because
Yeah, oh my
there's like
God.
actual shrimp, and so I started having the allergic reaction to it.
Jesus.
But I thought we were bad with that kind of stuff. And my sister giving her daughter bottled water. Her dog does not drink anything other than like, what is it, smart water or something.
Well, they even have something called cat water for cats. It is cat water with, it's so funny. I had at one point started doing the alkaline water, but then I was told by the vet not to give alkaline water to your pets because they actually have an acidic balance in their body, and that alkaline isn't really good. It can create like gallstones, kidney stones, and but I might just like squeeze all of this on top of Ashley's food, some hand cream. When in doubt, don't ever.
You might as well. I mean, look, my other sister makes her dogs 3 square meals a day. So
yeah,
like, I mean, she literally cooks for them. 3
Should
square
we do
meals
a show? Should we talk about anything else? I think we've given enough entertainment for the. I don't think we. Well, I guess there's people want to hear from you all on some different subjects. So sorry to interrupt the little pate, but we'll chat about a few other things. But Jill, again, you set new limits. All I gotta say.
Did you get sick? Did you get sick from it?
No, I'm telling you, I must have.
That's why I thought you may be sick.
No, I mean, I don't know what my metabolism. I think my I must have like an empty shell or something. I was like, wow. I mean, I can eat like probably anything.
Your body's probably saying, vitamin E.
I'm too mean. I'm too mean right now in the holiday season. Right. You
can repel anything, Jill, during this season. All right, let's get to some roll call. So welcome. Jen's in the house. Hope you're doing well. I sent the message too fast. She was sending a message before that. It cut off, so she resent. Black Beauty says hello.
Hi.
Jen Myers. Jen again says voting for you every day. Every Dr. Vibe, I have avid at my phone reminders. Thank you. Black Beauty. Yay, I see all 4 of you guys. Cinema Canella. Hello, happy Saturday.
Wow.
Black Beauty says, Jill, I appreciate your perspective in many ways. I think about the holiday season, not about the honey. Let's see what else is going on the comments here.
Dr. Tachi is on. Is that Dr. Tachi?
Yes, she's Dr. Tachi. I'm getting to her. Yeah.
Wow.
But Black Beauty saying, I refuse to let 45ism hijack my Christianity. Not all of us Christians are followers of the 45 cult. We're actually going to be talking about 45 and his cards in a little bit later.
Oh,
yeah. But there's a scary part of that. Regina goes because of your little story, Jill. And Dr. Tachi goes, wow. And by the way, Dr. Tachi, everybody, is going to be on my Morning Vibe show this Monday, which would be the 19th of December at 9 a.m. She's going to do the 2022 the year in media. So if you are up at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Monday,
and 6 my time.
Yep, wherever you're watching this, you can catch that. Dr. Tachi is the host of Mediascope, the best online show about media, tech, and pop culture. So she's going to be on there. So if you can't, as long as you subscribe to me, you'll at least be able to watch the replay.
Okay.
LMBO to Jill's story. Dr. Tachi says, I'm good, Dr. Vibe. Regina goes, the NFTS are good community. We're going to get to that. That's all right. No problem. So we are caught up. And finally, I guess we're going to talk about things going on in the world. So let's start with our first and sadly, DJ Twitch's tragic death.
I didn't know him. I don't really follow a lot of stuff. I'm not a big Ellen fan or nothing like that. But it always is a huge sadness to me that someone always feels hopeless enough to leave here. And I am always going to give you full disclosure about myself because you never know when you may be helping someone else. But there have been 2 times that I've almost checked myself out of this world as well. So I know what it's like to feel like you are showing a happy face to the world when you have so much pain behind it. And I can only imagine whatever the pain was. It's none of my business what the pain was. It's just sad to know that a bright light like that decided that he wanted to remove himself from this world. So my heart goes out to his family and his children. I don't know what it was, but I do pray for his soul.
You know, trauma manifests itself in so many different ways, because we're all individual. It's how it affects us. It is as individual as we are, and you know, the people who are often smiling the hardest in your face have some of the saddest things going on, or struggles within themselves, or even in their environments away from you. And so you've got to be mindful of that. His job, he literally got paid to smile and spin records and dance. And so you realize that that's just, it's a costume, it's an act, it's a facade. But people often do that at times too, to kind of hide the other stuff that's going on with them, because not only dealing with it themselves is traumatic, but having to converse with other people and reveal that to other people, particularly people who care about you, and to see their reaction of whatever it is going on with you is equally traumatic. And so I echo LaLa's sentiment, and that I pray for his, you know, his family, because they had young kids. At any age, it doesn't matter, but when they're really young, it's really sad that he didn't feel what he needed to feel to remain.
I didn't really know him, so I don't know.
I didn't really know him either, but I think it's interesting because when did he transition? What day of the week was it?
It was early in the week.
Okay.
But you can tell that it was something that he had planned. The fact that he left his home, left his car, took an Uber down to a hotel room, which was less than a mile from his home. He had this planned, and he actually turned his phone on to airplane mode so that no one could reach him. So there was something in his spirit that was bothering him enough that made him feel like he no longer felt that he was needed here.
Wow. Well,
I'm
going to take a few moments. Go ahead, Jill.
I just think we're bombarded too much with these phones. And, even sometimes I've been out, and if I get one more text or even a text, I want to scream. Because I like my privacy. I like having moments of just not having to go, okay, and then put it back in my purse. I think that we need to start having some kind of etiquette again, some kind of things, because things are triggers, and I'm not saying that would have solved his problem, but I having been around people who had issues with mental health, I'm not the right person to have a conversation about how I feel what he did. I find it it's sad, but the kids are fucked. It's like their relationships. I pray that another strong figure comes in and helps them, because he took on the responsibility to adopt one of his wives, and children. And I don't think that I'm the one to go into judging him on this, but I feel like we get so caught up in this, all of it, money, whatever is going on. And it's really, really difficult when people do this. This is heartbreaking, because those kids, to have to live with abandonment issues, that just doesn't go, that doesn't miraculously get solved.
No,
Even if
it
they
does
didn't
not.
witness what happened.
That
It
never
just
goes away.
doesn't ever go away. It's like, you didn't love me enough, so you left. You didn't love me enough. There's nothing I could do to stop you from doing something.
Yep.
And not to disclose too much, but yeah, I've gone through people threatening and yeah. And then knowing that at the end of it, they're going to choose that, and that messes with a child's brain. And it also makes them scared to sleep, scared to leave the house, scared to leave you alone.
Scared to trust.
And the craziest thing is, we don't really know what else. Kids are pretty observant. I would almost say they might be the ones who observed something probably more so than even adults. I just pray for those kids, to Devi, to the universe, because for me, they're the main ones I would rush to hold quickly, because he made his choice. But now the main thing is to help these kids and shower them with, there's nothing you can do for Twitch, nothing. But we've got to also not make easy outs for people either. You have children, you have responsibility. We got to bring you back down when you're thinking like this. And your kids are not better off without you.
No,
when you do this
ever,
stuff. They're
ever,
not.
ever.
Wrong.
But
It's
I
just
think
hurtful.
this is a really good time to say that if someone is suffering and you just don't feel like you really can talk to anyone, you always can text 988. That is an instant connection to someone who can talk you through things. You don't have to be on camera, but it is another ear. I know for me, it was my faith, and for me, exactly what you said, Jill, was my son. I went through a massive depression when I had my son at an early age.
Postpartum
Yeah,
depression is real.
it's real, and I didn't know what to do with that. But what kept me was my faith, and that's not for everyone. And I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to at that time. But like you said, I can't imagine going through what I went through now, because there's so many other influencing things. Everybody wants to be an influencer on Instagram, on blah, 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 blah. And you feel so pressured into being something that you're not. I'm almost grateful that when I went through my depression, that I didn't have those things, that I could work it out with myself and my religion to get through it. But I can't imagine what it would be like today, because they even showed a video that he had done with his family the day before. And if you,
but Aisha's right, though.
Well,
She said a lot of people who smile and hold it in, which we also know is not healthy for you either.
That's it.
You know,
a friend of mine committed suicide in 2014. He did it on Christmas Day. And, the day before, early that day, he was just, posting. He was so happy. He was full of love and all this. And it was a real struggle, because his mother just passed away like 2 months prior. And then his sister died 2 weeks after that. And that was all the family he had in the world. And even though he had friends and people checked on him when he had his losses, he still had that front, about him just, happy, jolly, go lucky. I am who I am. I'm living my life, whatever, and I'm great. And then Christmas Day, someone was like, he jumped. And it's just like, what? And so, unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've known quite a few people who were around my age as we got to be adults, committed suicide. And it's always just, you watch the aftermath of it. I've had a friend who hung himself. I had another one, cousin of my brother, who jumped off of bridge. And so it just, every time it's painful, not just, you realize the person has held in a lot of pain, but their pain goes away. It's the aftermath.
The
people who have to
are left.
pieces.
That's right.
Yeah, and And if they themselves are going through some trauma, or, in one instance, I know that one person's trauma was the same as the other person's trauma, and now they no longer have that person.
Well, that Miss America girl, who was the girl on
Mhm.
Access Entertainment, she did
Yeah.
it, and there was no indicator. But there always is. I think that it really speaks to America does not have a proper health.
No.
Um, Never has, and it does the barest minimum and claims it's doing the most. And the reality is that obviously, as soon as women have babies, if we're going to deal with postpartum, that should be a mandatory check-in all the time to make sure mom and baby are okay, and dad and whoever else. We have a situation with people who are in crisis, such as not having a place to live, and they make young women who are forced to carry these babies, and they make poor decisions in order to have housing over their head, and they live with horrible boyfriends who beat them, or family members, or things that are really not good for them, and then they kill their kids or kill their babies. There's always going to be a heartbreaking story about the pain that this country is causing its citizens.
Yeah.
It is America is choking the life out of each and every young person here. And everybody needs to fucking admit it. And I'm not saying it's not everywhere else in the world, but I am going to say it's here that the narcissism, the let's be the best, let's smile, let's make it all wonderful, let's do this. You've got Ellen DeGeneres talking about how upset she is, and we have to hear the sound bites, and yet then we hear about, like, God, you were a beast to work for, clearly.
Right.
And then it's sort of like, what is the pressure that these people are under to maintain their homes?
Yes.
You know how much these homes cost?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see where he was dancing? That house was not cheap.
No, ma'am.
Mhm.
I don't know how much they're making to keep up those bills with 3 kids. Come on. And a teenager who'll be driving in 2 years. I mean, there's pressure. And maybe the saddest part of it is that his dreams ran out. So for me, it's like, we have got to be able to tune in with our friends. Even maybe everybody should just do once a week tune in with their buddies. I mean, literally make it hey, we need to check in once a month, once a week, something. But we've all tuned out. We didn't even sense it. Come on.
Yeah. I want to say this specifically for Black men: check in, because the suicide rate with Black men is something that we overlook because we flood it into the just the general one, but the predominance of it among all Black people, Black men of a particular age, actually, like between late teens and those right before 40, that suicide rate is very, very high. And the stigma that we have in our community about getting outside help to deal with emotional issues, we got to get rid of it, because we hold too much trauma in just being in this country, period.
Well, I find the most toxic males have been talking about it, Charlemagne. But the only reason they're talking about it is because it's a button issue. It's the hot topic. He doesn't give a fuck. He contributes to it. He contributes to the degradation of his own community, and men and women. He contributes. So that's on him, buddy. And now he wants to clear his conscience after all the stuff he's contributed to Black men and on top of Black women. Come on. He's just afraid of being ratioed. I honestly think it's a sad, sad, sad thing. I feel for his family, his mother, and it's not for us to get into the nitty gritty of where all the equal, what happened as a child, and it will be only by their grace or their to let us know these things. But truly, we've got to keep.
Not everybody needs to know everything.
Not everybody needs to know everything.
Right. I mean, just on the post about it online, it was really interesting. And I did have this conversation with my husband today. I was like, geez, no one is ever allowed to just be kind anymore. Like, you say something kind, and then someone has to combat it because they have to. Oh, look at that beautiful sunset. Well, sunrises are better. I mean,
they've actually got a study on that. People who are trolls and who make those kind of comments are the most miserable and have the lowest self-esteem.
They
It's
also
so
have no
funny.
friends, because
Huh?
what friends are, I said they also have no friends, because
Right.
what friends would sit and listen to that shit all day, every day
Girl, right?
for years?
Right.
No.
Can you
We
imagine?
need pictures of these people. If anything, I need to see what your ass looks like so I know if I need to take
Too
these
much
seriously.
catfishing going on.
You
Too
know,
much
like, oh,
catfishing.
girl, you are not even going to like
Please,
go
you're
after
sitting in
Meghan
your
Markle
mother's
today,
basement in
honey,
your
right?
dirty underwear eating Cheetos on the computer.
I mean, let's look at what even Meghan Markle said in their documentary briefly with, Switch. It is there. This constant attacking people, like really, it does seep in. It's not healthy. It's not good. I mean, it is just relentless. Particularly, I'm not going to let that Black woman get attacked like that. I will know, because that goes back into these white women having a real serious problem with a white man being with a Black woman. I can feel it. It just feels like that. And I may not agree with everything those crazy couples do or what they did, but I'm going to tell you something. I know when somebody's coming for somebody based upon their race, and it is not going to happen. I will have your back. We can talk about the other stuff later, but I will have your back. That is not
like
cool.
what I said last week.
They are shook. These white women are shook that this man, the way he looks at her, y'all.
Well, that's what I said last week about
he is in love.
Their dream that only
In
they
love.
could get with, only they could end up with the prince because it's in all their fairy tales.
Right. They think, oh, it's Hallmark, honey.
Yeah. And and it's like it's kind of like how white people, specifically white males, acted in this country when we got our first Black president. It's like, oh, how dare you take the only thing in this country that was ours?
Know. They didn't like the way their wives were looking at him.
No, I'm sorry. He's not really Black.
Right. Yeah. Same thing.
Sorry. He's not the first Black president. Sorry. He's mixed.
And Twitch just
we don't want to claim him.
DJ Twitch seemed like he was kind of a diplomat too. Playing diplomat all the time. Yeah. They should learn to be like me and just suddenly one day just go on camera and go, fuck you.
I feel so much better. Do you know how long it took me to
important
kill you?
For your health. It's just so much better not to hold it in. And really.
Finally, I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah.
He played the game so well from that.
He did.
Show, and he went really far.
Yes.
For what his accomplishments were.
Yeah.
But what was coming after and what was standing in his way, I don't know. But God rest his soul.
It's not our business.
I know.
Okay, I'll come in here. We could spend the whole conversation today talking about this, and I think maybe hopefully in the new year we can bring in one or two mental health experts and have a roundtable conversation about this, because I think it's very worthy to have. Also, LaLa, I appreciate your openness and sharing some of your journey. I know that will help and empower someone who's watching this live or listening to this live or on the replay. So appreciate you, and we've got your back, by the way.
But I just want to say one other thing, like as far as with LaLa, but I at one point had become a cutter, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I wasn't going to kill myself, but I did have a way to, I don't know, abuse myself, but control. That was a factor of control of something where I felt I had no control in living in America.
Yep.
It was brutal for me, and it has been brutal. I think it's one of the most miserable places at the moment. And it's those are hard solutions, So yes, we should have somebody on who can talk about these things with people. Because
I'll get
serious.
one or two people. Yeah. I'm going to just hit with some, as you can imagine, a lot of the family have some comments they want to share. So LaLa, Aisha, we consistently have to keep an awesome support system for ourselves. It's very sad when torment drives a person to check out. Regina says, Charlemagne has been pushing Black men's mental health awareness for a while now. Black Beauty says, turmoil, life issues, etc. often catch us flat-footed, and counseling and support systems are everything, especially for those of us who live as healthy as we can with depression. Regina says the pain never goes away.
Right.
Black Beauty says, excuse me, Be mindful the brain process victims of narcissistic mind games, isolation, loneliness, and rejection in the same way it processes physical pain. Strength comes in knowledge and counseling.
It does.
Regina says, yes, agree it's a hot topic, and Charlemagne is a hot mess. Regina says, but it's not a hot topic. It's a real topic, a profound topic when you start connecting the dots. And Dr. Tachi says, oh, wow. I could add on this, but because of time, I'm not going to get into it. I'll just, I'll actually just give a very quick story. Actually, 3 gentlemen who I consider mentors on Thursday all open up to me saying they're going through challenges, all of them older than me.
Ooh.
And one of them, this gentleman is 71 years old, and I hadn't spoken to him for a long time. And all of a sudden he calls me and he says, Dr. Vibe, I'm so happy you answered. I go, yeah, it's good to hear from you. I hadn't heard from you for a long time. I said that he said he's in the process of moving. He lives off an island off of Portland, Oregon, and he's moving to Washington. Why? His marriage is broken up and he's emotionally broken.
Right.
And he said, whenever I speak with you, it's always a good thing. And it's really tough for me right now. And he said he was rummaging around, packing boxes. He picked up a piece of paper and my name was on it. And
wow.
That's an angel.
Yes.
So I want to agree with everybody. We have to check in with everybody who checking in, whether it's a text message, whether it's a voice. If you call them and you don't get, leave the voicemail or send the text.
And even if you have friends who were given like antidepressants or whatever, and you think, please check on them, because those things really can sometimes go the wrong
other way
too.
Yes. Yes. So as mentioned before, and LaLa, you were really, I was going to say reading. I usually say my alleged mind, so just reading my mind. I don't like to say alleged mind.
Alleged mind.
That I had already put up about the 988 3-digit nationwide phone number to connect directly to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline in Canada. We have viewers in Canada also, predominantly those 2 countries, Canada and the U.S. And for some reason, it's not allowing me to put up the Canadian number. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we go. 1-833-456-4566. So this is and especially, and also too, we're in the holiday season. Don't think that everyone's going through a good time, please and thank you. Right. Some people have going through their lowest times during holiday season when a lot of the world is celebrating, and there are people that are like, even strong people suffer. And I also want to put it out there for people in regards to a stigma about having mental health support. You don't just need mental health when you're on a dive. You also need it when you're strong.
You do.
Yes.
You do.
Right?
We live so far away from each other, and we don't have these little things anymore, this nucleus. We just don't have it. And that actually can wear you down. Sometimes you need a check-in to remember where you come from.
Yeah. So just don't think that you need mental health support when things are not going well. You need it when things are going well, because you never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's really important for those of us in relationships or marriage. I am very proud to say that my husband and I check in to one another quite a bit. We made it a point, and this is just the experience of being married for a while, because you go through ups and downs in every marriage. But we have made it a point that at least once a week we will do something together. It doesn't have to be a restaurant or anything like that. It could just be driving in the car, and we literally put the phone down and we check in with one another. Hey,
nice.
You didn't look like you felt so good this week. Honey, I think you're working too hard. What can we do? Don't forget that just because you live with your partner and you talk to them every day, that they're okay. Check in with them, talk with them, put the phone down and really connect.
So true. My husband was in a bad mood last week. Really bad mood. And he never gets in a bad mood. It was just, he's like, I'm fine. Just let it go. I just don't want to talk, And that's always tricky because that has triggers for me, having grown up with people that, you know, went and did some crazy stuff to, you know, attempt suicide and stuff. So those kind of things bother me. They trigger me. So unless you tell somebody that you're having that, like, here are my triggers, here are my things. And to do that, to have these kind of relationships, we always, you know, this fucking stupid thing, Instagram, these so-called influencers, be this, be that. You have to be vulnerable with your mate. And you have to make them a little bit responsible for you a little bit when you're being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So that when they do if something crazy goes on against you, or they'll think twice. Even in certain people need to know what your vulnerabilities are. And if you can't trust somebody with them, then that's not a real relationship. Whether it's your friendship or whatever, you have to be vulnerable. And they need to be vulnerable with you, because then you really know what prized possessions you are with each other and your family and everybody. So you're thoughtful. So we all are kind of thoughtful. So we can all be a little bit selfish and rude at times if we don't check in. Like you said, it's a great idea. Wonderful. I need to do that more with my own husband.
That's something I do with. There's about 3 or 4 men, because I'm very concerned about what's going on with men, as some people may or may not know. And I even text and say, and I just say, "You good?" That's all I ask. You good, with a question mark. Simple as that. And before we transition to our next conversation topic, and if you'll say we're going on to this for this too long, it's important. So if you don't like it, jump off, please and thank you. Awesome subject, family. Thank you, Black Beauty. Appreciate that. I will leave with this last comment on this subject. If you have a crisis, do you have someone you can turn to? I'll leave it at that. That's someone who is with you in good times, but is also with you in not so good times. Let's move on. A former Fort Lee police officer, Aaron Dean, was convicted of manslaughter in the shooting of Atiana Jefferson. She was shot through the bedroom window. Ms. Aisha K., start on this one, please, and thank you.
Right. Well, if I'm remembering the case correctly, Atiana Jefferson was at home watching movies or something with her nephew, and a neighbor saw that she had left her door open. Another reason why I say we all need to sometimes mind our own business. Called police and told police something didn't look right. And she was inside. She had no idea what was going on outside. She heard someone in her property, took her registered gun with her, and the police officer shot and killed her in her own home in front of her nephew, who also testified in this trial. The reason he was convicted of manslaughter is because they had the choice of murder or manslaughter. And the jury, not one of her peers, they were of his peers, white police officer, young black woman. Murder, the difference between murder and manslaughter, very simply, is that if you're convicted of manslaughter, you're basically found responsible for the death of someone, but it's not considered a murder per se. A murder is considered a more heinous act. Nonetheless, someone's life has ended. And so he got the lesser of the two. But, for me, it's kind of like, okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse deliberately goes somewhere and shoots people because he is a fascist. But this woman can't protect herself in her own home without being murdered.
And yet Kyle is still free, talking about people need to take responsibility for their actions.
Right.
That was his tweet this past week. So basically, it's a big fuck you to everyone. You let me do what I needed to do. And yet these cops are still getting off with the lesser charges. I have serious issues with this.
And I think the DA, because I don't think the DA had that great of a faith in the pool of people that would be on that jury, because they allowed for the manslaughter charge to also be considered. That was one of the things I guess they kind of, given the landscape of what's happened since 2020, said, you know what, maybe we should add this too so we can cut our losses. Either way, he gets time. But, you know, it's still a very sad situation.
Guns, police shootings still continue. We're coming to another end of a year, and it still continues.
In other words, Thursday in America.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. I have to agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think
Wow.
And I have nothing to say or to add to this, because
Okay.
it's the same disgusting things about this country that,
Yeah.
you know, I keep going on about. It's a broken record.
Okay. Regina is saying manslaughter is not premeditated. And Regina's also saying, I'm still wondering what happened to Sandra Bland.
Exactly.
Right. As if Texas.
Oh, that's Texas. We'll never know.
Texas. But as if, you know, as if that's ever going to be investigated in
They
Texas.
can't even
while
tell us what
Abbott
happened
is-
to John F. Kennedy. So
Right.
you think they're going to tell us about Sandra Bland?
Right.
They released all the records, 98%. There's still 3% we don't know.
And
That's
that 3% is
redacted.
never going to look. That 3%
Never going to see the light of day.
Everybody's
ever.
gone.
Because
Oh,
I
okay.
believe that those people that is being redacted are still alive. And they're walking amongst us, and they're serving in offices. And to be honest with you, that's wrong to me, that things like that could stay redacted. Whoever it is, the killers are still here and they're still alive.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when you go to look at the
And
Martin Luther King.
they're going to find out
papers.
maybe in 100 years, and people will be going, "Oh my God, they were sitting right next to them." You know
it's
how
the
messed
same
up
thing
that
that
is, or
happened with
it's
Emmett
disgusting
Till's,
to me.
Emmett Till's situation. That chick is still here in freaking Kentucky.
The
She's in
original Karen.
hospice.
Yes, and
The original
and
Karen. Yeah, that's what I
let me
call
tell
her.
you something. I don't care if the woman is 98 years old. I'm sorry, she still needs justice. Justice
know.
still needs to happen. And
No,
they're blocking.
they won't do it, and
No,
it'll never happen.
it's not like they haven't had the warrants to arrest her. There are warrants.
They buried them.
They just never enforced them.
I mean, you can't even get a good old killer nurse anymore in these hospice places.
Well, okay.
No, I mean,
Bad joke.
So Regina says, I'm still wondering what happened. And then Black Beauty says, I'm just lost for words on that tragic shooting. The one, I guess she's referring to Sandra Bland.
Think about that. Her the woman, Thomas Jefferson's nephew, is going to have to live with that image for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Because he was so young when it happened.
oh my God.
Right. And the fact that he had to live through that, then he had to testify as to what he saw happen.
Well,
And
imagine
that
the
image is
trauma
never
of how the
removed.
police and all of them came around the house afterwards, probably thinking they were going to shoot him. Because I'm surprised they didn't shoot him.
He was there by
The
himself
trauma.
after she was
They
gone.
totally, wanted to make this out to be something that it wasn't. And unfortunately, white police officers in America, they're just either killers, cold-blooded killers, or they're just really stupid and morons. And I'm using this because I can't really say the word, like just not very bright. In fact, we do know that the IQ of the police officers is below 65? Isn't that what they won't hire you if you're over 75 to be a policeman? Isn't that crazy? They think you'll get bored.
But there's a catch-22 situation, because a lot of good policemen, quote, good policemen, are leaving the force because they see how much of a mashup it is. And now the police forces are taking questionable recruits. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
Well, it
San
depends on where
Francisco
you go.
just fixed that by putting in, we have robots now, RoboCops.
Yeah.
There will not be humans doing this for a while. Well, mark my
When they
words.
tried to test us by giving them shooting rights, but when the public outcried, they said, "Oh no, we can't do that now." But you watch, it's gonna happen.
They might be about as good as they might give people more of a reprieve anyway.
And
Hell, I don't know.
There's places they'll put those RoboCops at schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to catch up,
That'd be the first.
Dr. Chachi says the lady that you referred to, the original lady in the Emmett Till, yes, she needs to be in jail.
Karen.
I don't care. Yeah, as you call her, no matter. She says she needs to be in jail. I don't care how old she is. And Regina agrees 100% with Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi says, excuse me, part of the problem is you don't need very much training in order to be a police officer.
You
Excuse me.
don't. Here it's
6
only
weeks in the
several
police
months.
academy teaches you
That's it.
nothing about psychology of people, etc.
And they, even
Yeah,
though they
all
do
the cops
these
across
mental
the
health
world
status
are.
exams, they don't go real deep. I think the police officers should go through, like, aggressive therapy, mental health therapy, before they even take on the
They
job,
don't
to see if
even.
they're fit. Because some of these people, honestly, I'll tell you, some of these people that are being hired and that are doing these things because they feel like they're being disrespected as police officers have power nowhere else in their lives. The
Barney
only
Fife
power
was a
they
better
have is
police
behind that
officer.
badge.
That they don't train them long enough. Like Europe trains for 7 months, 8 months. There's in Germany, France is a year. In fact, wait, Germany is over a year or something. So, but everybody here is quick, fast, in a hurry. But
3 months, you can have a gun
seriously,
and a badge.
it's really, really transient goofs that are in there. And they are also weirdos. They're just weird. And we all should be very careful, because there's a white kid who was killed recently in a similar situation, and his parents are trying to fight for justice as well. And they shot him when he was just pulled over when his car broke down. And they just arrested that guy who was new. And it looked like that guy had an issue with him. They were in a small town in America. And to be honest with you, it looked like that guy just became a cop so he could kill just that kid. Like jealous of him. So there we have that. So you're right about the psychological backgrounds. We have some really bad things going on when, but like I said, when you see the policemen, a lot of them they're a liability, number one, to a city or a town. And when you look at how much money we as taxpayers keep having to pay out, which America doesn't keep a list of how much they've had to pay over the last years. There is no list. There's one guy who started it on his own. He created this list, and people need to look at it more to show what towns are paying out when these families sue, because they just start to sue for the money. So we're talking millions and millions of dollars for abuse and all of it. And there's not a master list. That's what they need to bring to Joe Biden. They need to make that a federal law. But then we have our agencies like the FBI and whatever else we got going on, they're dead in the water. They're done for some reason. Horrible. Christopher Wray the other day was a joke. He shouldn't have that position, guys.
No.
Okay, going forward,
Ridiculous.
we have.
And Joe Biden made a mistake by not getting rid of him.
Dr. Tachi said, in my opinion, police officers need to have a degree. If we require doctors to have rigorous training because they hold lives in their hands, why do we not hold these individuals to the same standard?
Well, it's like with everything else, like even with when we were talking about our election laws last week, that they're done by state basis. Police officers it's an even more tiered thing. So it's not just state police. You have your city police, you have your local police, you have your local police. And if you have universities in your area, you have university police. And so each one of those different types of police forces has their own set of rules or ordinances that they have to adhere to. And in the lower level that those things go, the requirements are different. It depends. It depends on where you are. But I know, in town I grew up in, they have to have at least a 2-year degree, associates, or at least 2 years worth of post high school study. But we can't require it because police aren't federal. The only people we can require it for are the federal police, which would be the ones that stick mainly around DC.
All right. So Regina adds, I don't know where she's getting these numbers from, but she says the average cop IQ is about 104, and the police departments are allowed to cut off applicants with high IQs. WTF?
Wow, that's more than I thought. I thought really they couldn't be above 70, but okay. That's
and also wild. Says they need to be at least 25 years old when the brain is more mature. That's what she's suggesting.
But it just won't get mature when you grow up eating like what these people are eating,
right,
at the trailer park.
Okay.
Fast food does not make a educated brain. I'm sorry. It's like Swiss cheese.
like Regina said about them being at least 25 years old, I agree with that. But again, it goes back to those lower level departments. And so if the age to be able to buy and legally have and register a gun is 18, then those police departments are going to start recruiting people at 18. Like here at 21, in some places you have to be 21. And so it just really depends. And that's why I wish that there were some federal laws that we could all have all of them adhere to, but we can't for those reasons.
Okay, and Regina says yes, suggesting with a degree. And before we move on to the next conversation topic, some good news for a future conversation. So there's a lady who lives in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, Leslie McEwen. She has been a psychotherapist, Black woman, psychotherapist for over 30 years.
Wow.
And she commented saying, yes, you're never alone. And then I asked her if she'd be interested and available to join us in a conversation about mental health. And she says, yes, it's a conversation that needs to be ongoing. So I will work on getting her coming on one Saturday evening, and we'll just talk about that subject, nothing else. And I think probably in the early new year, sooner the better, because especially some people may not have had the best of holiday seasons.
Right.
So having that subject. So Leslie and I will be reaching out to you in the next 24 to 48 hours to see when you're available on a Saturday evening to join us and lead us in this conversation. And if you do go to my Morning Vibe show, or you do follow me on YouTube, she has appeared a few times on my platform, so you can get oriented on where she comes from in regards to mental health. Next conversation subject. The year's going to end, and the January committee teases new evidence of a final hearing. Jill, sorry.
Drag this out any longer.
They turned it into a knitting circle.
Yeah.
So they have these 3 things that they're going to make recommendations to the DOJ, and they're all like 3 charges to charge Trump with: insurrection, and I forget the other 2. I think failure to elect, or standing in the way of Congress doing its job. And I got the other one, but the real balls are Merrick Garland. What is he going to do? What more info? It's like, how close to 2023 do you want to get? And the only reason that he's really holding back is because he doesn't have to be on the timeline of Congress when Congress changes hands. He needs to be on a timeline of something, because I
think he's going to resign. I think he's going to, in the last ditch effort next year, he's going to resign. And then they're going to have to spend another couple of months, probably. I'm just trying to think of anything new that could go on that would just make us all go, what? And that's like the next best thing. We
know what we need to know. We've been done knowing it. I'm sick of this carrot in front of this damn donkey.
I agree.
Well, I hope that he does resign, because the good thing is that with the Senate being in control of the Democrats, they'll be able to get someone confirmed for that position who should be in that position.
Yeah, but look at how much longer. I mean, I understand that, Aisha, but you know what? I'm exhausted.
Me too.
I'm so exhausted.
No, I mean, I'm hoping that it's someone who's going to come in and be like, okay, day one, I'm picking this up. No more BS. This is what we're doing. We're charging.
But I just feel so bad when I see that people in this country who pass away with all this crap going on. And I just think, wow. And look how much time Donald Trump's existence has taken out of our lives. Like, honestly, I don't really give a shit anymore. I honestly am kind of like, okay, there's that. And there's you guys in Congress, useless. This train ain't never going to get started. And to be honest with you, I'm good because my plans will be very different, and it will never freaking include depending on anything that the government is thinking of doing, wanting to do. And it doesn't even include it in old gray white men, the gray men. I'm done with them all. I'm done. I'm good. Because when people when people tell you who they are, yes, no more investments here. No Not take my little stock money, put it somewhere else. Whatever you've got, look at who you're dealing with. The enemy has told you they're not going to do anything to protect you.
And then they pat themselves on the back. Oh, look how good we did.
Be selfish with your life. Be selfish with what you want. Vote selfishly, because I don't think this moving as a crew has been working.
No.
Because, we have a mockery going on. We have a mockery with someone stupid like Amber Heard is going to keep trying to appeal to a court. And nobody said, bitch, go back, take care of your kids and shut the fuck up and get on with it. You owe the man money and move the fuck on. I just need that kind of a system at this point. Bitch, you've been showing up at court. You need to put down $8.5 million for your appeal. And stop telling me you don't have $10 million to pay him if you've got 8.5 to appeal.
My problem with this at this point.
Sorry to wrap that in there.
My
but it's all such crazy
at this
shit.
point is the commodification of it. I've been seeing all these ads, Ari Melber, just to name names, of people that are selling a book version of the hearings with a foreword that they've written. And it's like they're selling them. And I'm like,
no way.
Really?
Why?
It's like,
because they can.
This is like watching Scandal. That's all we're doing.
Except we don't have a B16 or whatever that was. We don't have a Papa Pope. Because if we did have a Papa Pope, Trump would have been fixed.
Because
I think Trump thinks he's Papa Pope. He ain't.
Yeah, the thing that I've always had concern about with the committee, they can suggest whatever they want, but they have no power.
They have no criminal power. No. None.
So,
they can only do civil stuff, which this is what these hearings are. They can't do any kind of criminal prosecution or anything like that.
No, and there's only so long you're going to listen to somebody who has no power. It's like standing in line and you're trying to get inside, and finally you realize after a freaking hour, you're like, well, this bitch can't get me inside the building.
Right.
I'm going to go find somebody who can.
Right.
I'm trying to get in backstage or whatever. You do not dawdle with this kind of stuff. It's the kabuki theater going on with all of them has been happening for a long time. And all I know is that we sit here and put our RIPs and everything on there. And the saddest thing for me is that Twitch left in the worst part of, like, he never saw Donald Trump get justice. He'll never see that. And there's so many others too. That person's existence has sucked the fucking oxygen out of living for people. It's worse than anything. And people need to pay attention to what that movement did. And if Merrick Garland can't get it through his fucking slow ass head, then he needs to resign because he's done us a disservice just like they have. Yeah. And I don't think he's a hero because he's dotting his I's and, no.
He's walking this slower than Bob Mueller.
Exactly. We need somebody, we need a man and a woman. We need the archetypes to come forth. Not these, we need strong archetypes, men and women who have things to say and set the score and create the roles here. Like, really move forward with this. These are old. We got to get rid of the old, y'all. And I'm old, but get rid of these motherfuckers. Damn. Sick of them. And the young people that they're choosing, like the Josh Hawleys, and they ain't saying much either. We've got to open the doors for the other ones, for the youth. I just have to. This is bad, guys.
All right. So Black Beauty says January 6th committee, free portable toilets while watching the hearings.
Thank you. It's so true. It's so bad. And they'll be auctioning those things off soon too, right? On eBay.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
They never did tell us who cut Ayanna Presley's phone wires. I'm still waiting on what the hell happened in her office.
Yeah,
y'all.
right.
Did y'all ever get to the bottom of it?
Yeah, it just looks very embarrassing that
the officers who died, and got beaten up.
Yeah.
Officer Fanon. I mean, God, I can't fathom how they must feel. You're right. It's a mockery, Dr. Vibe. It's a joke. And now we're going to sit up here after everybody sucked Liz Cheney's ass. What the fuck did she do? She had nowhere else to go, guys. She had nowhere to be. She had nothing to do.
She's shown us who she is from day one, so there was never any trust for me
Thank
with her.
you.
Yeah.
Go home, be a mom. You know, take your knitting needles with you because you didn't vote for the voters act, and I find that to be completely unforgivable.
Yeah,
I don't care what you do on a committee. Why? Because a committee you're upset about because your life was threatened.
Well,
that's
not
all she cared
before
about.
that. She's upset because they fired her. Remember?
Yeah, that's what she was upset about.
Yeah.
And wow, what a stupid woman when you think about it. Like, girl, they didn't even see you. They didn't even care.
Nope.
The Democrats tried to make it like anybody cared that she was there. Well, they wanted you gone. They were like, bye, bitch. Nobody cared. They tried to make poor little Liz's ego feel a lot better. Girl, you know,
That's the
seriously.
same with Pence. Pence still trying to stand up there acting like he's doing something. They was coming to kill you.
Yeah.
Kill you. They had the news.
That delusion of those two was crazy. That like somebody believed in there. Liz Cheney was going to tell me what justice was. Bitch, bye. You know, really, that was, you just got payback for voting against your sister at one point a long time ago when you didn't vote for same-sex marriage. That's why you got asked out, and you should have packed your shit a while ago. Ain't nobody trying to make Liz Cheney anything for us. It was like, what are we going to like from the, what do you say, jump from the fire into the frying pan or from the frying pan into the fire?
Mm-hmm.
She ain't going to con me. She needed to go a long time ago because had things gone her way, she'd have been standing right beside him, guys.
Exactly. She didn't get her way. So therefore she wants to be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got 45's digital trading card collection sells out in less than a day.
Okay, first of all, here's what I don't understand. How can it sell out? I guess whatever. How can they sell out when all you had to do was like right click and download the image to your laptop and print it out yourself? It's never going to sell out because bootlegging that stuff more than they bootleg Prince's The Black Album. Okay, it's like, what's the point? And not only that, but that 3 a.m. infomercial thing that he did reminded me, like during the pandemic, he was selling the Trumpy bears.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
That's what it reminded me. I'm like, why does this remind me of something that I used to, during the pandemic, I was like up all night watching Heart to Heart. What was it? And it was the Trumpy bear.
Yes.
And
you know, just so cheap and tacky, you guys. Oh, cringe.
I mean, he had himself slimmed down by a good 150 pounds.
Trying to look like Kevin Costner in that Yellowstone look.
Schoolboy fantasies. He was an astronaut, a big, strong, superhero, and
Kevin Costner from Yellowstone.
In the military. Okay, he's so uncouthly dodged when it was his turn.
Because of his bad
faith. To see his ass in a superhero position. He just loved to see himself. And then somebody put a picture of the muscular Superman next to him on the damn golf course, looking all like a decrepit crypt keeper. So in his mind, that's what he looks like. But who are these fools? Who are these fools who are still giving him money?
He got $5 million for his campaign, nice and quick.
He sure did. But see, it's the Kool-Aid. It is the freaking Kool-Aid.
I don't know. Did y'all see the My Pillow guy laying on the pillow spraying?
But remember, the RNC said if he ran, they were not going to foot his legal bills anymore. So he's got to do what he can. Trump steaks, Trump jet, Trump college, whatever. Look, Trumpy bear. Now he's selling Trump trading cards.
He ain't doing nothing that he's never done before. This is his track record.
He's paying his bills. And so here's the thing. Why isn't the IRS finding those little guffaws? That's commingling of money. And see, we got to question them too. Like, really? You all didn't find it, but New York State has been finding stuff. That's a problem, because I believe he's been paying people off for a long time.
Ooh, yeah.
Because there's no way that this money, he's got people breathing down his neck to pay his bills. These are bills. This is a month for Donald Trump. $5 million ain't nothing. That's gone already. It belongs to people. It's like unreal to me. But my question was, what came down the pike that he had to immediately throw this bullshit together to get it up? You know, it's like a yard sale. It's like, okay, guys, we're gonna have a yard sale.
I think she's doing something like this. She's heading something up like this. So you know, it's all tied into her too. Where she gets
his wife.
Oh yeah, there's a pornographic lady.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did try.
Nothing but the nasty ass supposed to be in first lady. She's nasty. I didn't need to see her twat. I didn't need to see nothing. I don't need to see.
She's bad. I think she's just, I think that she and hers didn't sell from what they had said previously. But she laid the groundwork and was tooling around to understand the grift on it and how they're going to get the money the way they want to get the money. That's all that was, and that's why she's such a co-conspirator in all of it. And seriously, I think, there's more to that story, a lot more.
More to that story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, way more to that story. Now you watch what come out next.
But even his own party members are embarrassed by him. They showed Mike Flynn saying, if I was in charge of his campaign and somebody said to do this, I would have them fired.
Well,
and what was it? Steve Bannon was just like, I just can't look at this again.
I hope he keeps doing things exactly like this, because he has no taste. But actually, he has no humility. He also has no shame, y'all. That's what's really crazy. This dude is like, is it going to make me money? Okay, let's do it. That's it.
But you got to wonder what is. But this goes back to what you're saying, Jill. You got to wonder what is going on, because remember how up until November, Donald Trump, going all the way back to 2015, was doing at least 2 rallies a week, even while he was president. And then all of a sudden he stopped. And remember, rallies are where he makes money.
But he's laundering some money on this. He's getting money to get dumped. There's something.
He's putting it in his super PAC.
This NFT is not his fans' money. It's a deal. It's either a foreign entity is going to buy these things, quote unquote, buy them. This is a wash of some sort, in a way to give him money, because he knows the government is looking at him.
Yeah, but there's something going on, because notice that since he announced, he has not done a rally at all.
Oh no, because they stopped. You just said they don't want to give him the money, right? And he also never pays in these towns. He leaves them high and dry. So why I feel that this NFT is so ridiculous, and it looked nothing more like, a really like bad first year graphics person. It really, the photos, everything was horribly cheap.
It looked like a 1980s He-Man comic strip, and those were better.
Which made me think that somebody is going to be dumping some money to him under this umbrella of these are NFTs for sale. That's why we're all laughing and making fun of him. But Trump always laughs his ass to the bank. And he's figured out, if whoever is investigating can look at remember, he created a new company as well. And I'm sure he's got many more entities that he's created. And that's how why it's so difficult to follow.
This might be just another way to launder money from MBS or whoever.
From Saudi. Absolutely. Because they can wire money to somebody who lives here and blah, blah, blah.
And they're very big with cryptocurrency.
Thank you.
And for NFTs, you need crypto.
So Black Beauty catching up here at LMBO. And Dr. Chachi says, I remember those. I thought it was a joke at first. Regina says, grifter. And Dr. Chachi says, they are the same people who have voted for him. Wigmaniac says, there's a sucker born every minute. And Dr. Chachi says, We New Yorkers have been telling folks from the beginning about him, but nobody listens.
But the thing is, people don't care that there are suckers for sure, but there are people who legitimately are seeing how slow the DOJ works, that by the time they're thinking that they catch up with them, their lives are over. Who gives a shit? Right. You think his other friend with the white hair, Roger Rabbit or whatever his name is, Roger whatever, what's his name? Him and the Farrell, Mike Farrell, what is his name? Mike, the Army
Flynn?
guy. Yes, Mark Farrell Flynn. Yes, he's Farrell. Like, he's just wild. I don't know what part of his brain they took when they took him as prisoner or something, but this man is like switched into, like, he's pretty diabolical. So they're serving some kind of masters that are, it's called money. And it's like, they know how the government is and they know how slow it is. Bannon's known, all of them have known. They told Trump, dude, they're so slow, they never get around to anything. One doesn't know what the other one's doing. And that's how they made this happen. Because it is really true. If anybody abroad ever looked at how we're conducting our anything with this stupid knitting circle called the January 6th committee now, and I hate to disrespect them at this point, but seeing as how it's really not going to manifest into anything.
Right.
You're a knitting circle. You are no different than, nothing. You wasted my fucking time. And I don't like people wasting my time, and they're not going to anymore because I need action. I need to see action.
Mm-hmm.
Action. Jackson.
All right, let's continue on some more comments. Cinema
and by the way, we don't need a new Bond. We need a new Action Jackson, a new black Bond. We had our dude. Action Jackson I loved him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty fun. Haggle about James Bond.
So, Cinnamon, I see how you put the hyphen in your name now. Trump, 45, is getting techniques from narcos on money laundry. Dr. Tati says when NFTs, you have to be smart enough to understand that you need a crypto wallet. That is not his base. They're not that smart. So we know this is coming from someplace
Absolutely.
else.
Absolutely.
And it's also how he's able to trick his base into saying that they're sold out because they can't get them.
Right. Yes. Exactly, because it was never set up for them. Nobody cares about that stuff.
He is sold out of them already.
Yes, he is protecting as well as receiving. He's doing it right under the nose of the Department of Justice and the United States government and the FBI, because Donald Trump has always been able to tear apart an agency and find one mole in there, somebody who's getting a lot of money. And they only go to jail for a hot lickety split. What do they care? They'll be out in a few years and they get to keep their money.
They get a book deal afterwards.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's another weird thing. Who's actually buying and reading these fucking books? Ain't nobody like the New York Times is not like it used to be. That's another weirdly set up, already corrupt industry at this point, because that is just cycling through for media people to completely be inappropriate, illicit, liars, corrupt. Everybody's got a book, and yet nobody fact checks. And your own reputation isn't even ruined when you're a big fucking liar.
Nope.
And we really need to get a grip. Otherwise, that's why we are swirling the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
America's swirling the bowl. All for entertainment's sake, right? And then people sit and wonder why somebody went and killed themselves. Please, there's a lot of reasons about living in this country that would just make people wake up every day and go, God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see if we can. LaLa said, let's end on let's see if we can end on a positive note on some holiday memories.
Yeah.
Is there any positive holiday memories that you've had in the past you'd like to show with our audience?
I do, because you know what? I think we all have valid points, and I think what we're doing here is extremely important, because there's a lot of the times where we don't hear our point of views because it may not be what people want to hear, but there are many of us out here who do know that we're on the right track with these thought processes. But we also have a responsibility as humans to also put something positive back into the world. And so that's why I suggested this tonight. And I don't have my father and birth mother or my mother who raised me around anymore. But part of the holidays is a little nostalgic for me, and the fact that my dad, I will never forget this. My dad had a Pontiac, and he was a car man. And it was my 5th grade father-daughter dance around Christmas. And I didn't think to ask him because my father was not a man that would do things like this. But for some reason, my mother had mentioned it to him, and he said that he would take me. So my father waxed that car until it could shine all the way up to the moon. He dressed up. Now, this is a man who worked at Ford and worked in a Ford uniform every single day. Never seen him in anything outside of that. Puts on his best suit, his shiny shoes, and he takes me to this dance, and we dance. And that is one of the best memories that I have ever had of the holidays, because of how I was dressed, how he was dressed, and how I had my father's love and attention for that night. And my sisters always tease me because they never did anything like that with Dad, and they're not jealous of it, but we all talk about how that's a cherished memory. I think it's the small things that we do for one another that is going to make the difference in this world, even just a smile. But that memory always stays with me, and it gives me a warm heart. And I hope that touched somebody tonight too, to do something with their children or with their loved ones, that they will also carry that memory with them forward.
Anyone want to add any good holiday memories?
When my daughter was 3, I did all the Christmas shopping, everything. She got her to bed, had relatives over, everybody left. I'm setting up everything, including this Dora the Explorer dollhouse. I put every little thing in everything, set up everything up, packages wrapped, everything. And I'm excited to see her, because she's 3 now. She really gets the whole gist and the joy and everything. She was so excited she couldn't sleep. Well, I don't get up, like you think at this crack of dawn, because, most parents like 5, 6 o'clock, your kid's getting up. I'm like, I wake up, I look at the time, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I didn't wake up. She didn't wake up. I go in the living room. Everything has been played with, unwrapped. A bag of garbage with the wrapping paper sitting off to a corner, and she went back to sleep.
Oh no! Oh,
oh my God, that's the only Christmas morning of hers that I ever missed. But but she had a good time. So.
But the thought process of a 3-year-old to know.
I mean, she must have gotten up very early. I would think she was up early, couldn't sleep.
Yeah, and it just so happened because the setup of the house that we lived in South Carolina, her bedroom was on one side, one of the safer sides of the house,
right?
And then you come through this open floor plan through the living room where everything was, then to my bedroom, and yeah, I guess she just figured I wouldn't wake you up.
Oh, I love it.
Anything you want to share, Jill, before we close it down?
I think that, I grew up where sometimes we were celebrating Christmas and sometimes we weren't, because sometimes my grandparents were Jehovah's Witnesses and then sometimes they weren't, because my mom would always give me gifts and stuff. And by the way, I sometimes think that those kinds of religions were psyopted into the Black and brown communities to destroy family gatherings and people getting together. I don't trust those religions anymore. So because there's a lot to be said for all of your family members uniting and coming together. I mean, we weren't like, getting together like we were the Black Panthers, So I had a hard time over years. Fortunately, when I moved to California, we had great Christmases with the Gordy family. It was amazing. It was lovely. And it was consistent. and it was loving and it was fun and all of that. But then having my daughter, wanted to do similar or do fun things. And but one memory I really have about me as a single mom trying to create this, like, was the Nutcracker, going and ice skating in Central Park, and trying to create a sense of tradition, because I think that when you're a single parent, you do lack that. And even now, sometimes I know that our kids, if they've been products of divorce, sometimes don't remember certain things, all the effort you went through to create something, because it gets really disjointed. Are you at your dad's this year? Are you this? Are you that? Or whatever. And just trying to create some semblance. But I do remember just eating like chestnuts and ice skating. I even have a picture. I might put it up soon and going and doing the whole activities of New York. And even if your life isn't consistent, then I think what I loved about New York is that New York was consistent. I could count on that tree being there, and I could count on the park, and I could count on the Nutcracker being there. So those were my beacons, my things that sort of kept me straight about the holidays or the snow and loving it. Those were when my life wasn't a consistent thing, New York was. So that's my holiday memory and why I love that city so fucking much. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is a wrap. Another epic conversation, ladies. You're in fine form. Didn't know how many were going to show up tonight, but y'all did, and y'all came through. So thank you so much. So before we close it out, as always, we have to say thank you to the ladies for taking their time to share with us. And as always, if they are up to it, they can share their contact information. So first up, LaLa.
You can reach me at Realty Goddess on all social media platforms, because, you know, I'm kind of addicted like that.
Absolutely. Jill Jones.
I am at Jill D. Jones on Twitter and Jill Jones Music on Instagram. So please follow me at any of those places. I promise I'm going to be a lot happier, more perky in the next couple of days.
Okay.
I wish you all Merry Christmas too, if we're not touching base before the end.
No problem. And for some reason, okay, hold on. There she is, Aisha K. Staggers.
You can get me at Aisha Staggers on Twitter. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you in the new year.
Well, you know what? You'll see us before the new year, because we will make appearances over the holiday season. We're going to coordinate time to get together over the holidays. So again, that's why you've got to follow us. You got to follow the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. And when you subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, follow and also hit the subscribe bell so you get notified, especially during the holiday season, because we're not going to be on next Saturday will be a replay because it's Christmas Eve. The following Saturday is New Year's Eve, but we are going to be on between now and the end of the year at least 1 or 2 times. And so please do that. So a few other things, as I said earlier on, you can catch Dr. Tachi's, who's been some comments tonight, this Monday morning on the Morning Vibe at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And she'll be talking about 2022, the year in the media. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be epic. And then you can catch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and on my website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, if you are watching this before the day of December 21st at 9 p.m. I have Dr. Alicia Watkins, who is a registered, she's been a counselor for Black couples for over 20 years, has her master's in social work, and is a tenured professor in the area of trauma, coming on. And if you've ever heard the name Boyce Watkins, that is his wife. So she's going to be on this Wednesday. So that's going to be an epic conversation. So let's see what else we want to do. If you want to get a hold of me, there are the different ways: website, email address, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. What other things we got going on here? Instagram. And then finally, would you like to promote your business or your service on our show like Ebony Occasions did today? Contact Dr. Vibe at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. That's a wrap before Christmas. Epic conversation today. And as always, I close with this. Oh, there's some more comments. Let's see if we get them in here. Jen says, great conversation as always. Black Beauty, once again, another awesome show. Thank you so much. Well, it's our show, so you helped make it an awesome show. So I'm going to leave with this as always. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, Happy Holidays. And if you don't do any of those, take care of yourself. All right? Be well, keep the faith. God bless, and walk good. We'll catch you during the holiday season on the platform. Bye.